and giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings unto the 144,000, as well as the rest of the elect. This Brother Taza Pie here with another lunch special. And for today, we're going to be serving up these women, all right? And not so much them in particular, but as they pertain to us, all right, the men. Because there's a thing out now among the internet. It's called red pill, all right? And a lot of people may think that that term red pill and the content that they push out is new age, but it's actually a return to ancient knowledge and ancient wisdom of the scriptures. All right, that's why a lot of brothers, you know, they gravitate toward the red pill material, all right, the red pill content. All right, like, hey, Kevin Samuels. And I know for a fact, Apostle Ricard, you know, he used to watch Kevin Samuels. Well, I'm sure he still does, but I ain't gonna say love, but he watched Kevin Samuels, all right? And he often, well, not so much often, but he'll mention them from time to time in conversation, all right? Because he spoke on a lot of biblical things, all right? But that's not hip for this world, for you to, you know, be speaking about the Bible. So they have to term it red pill and make it all, you know, seem like it's new age. But that's just a sign of the times. You know, as we had lost the knowledge of being men. All right, and it's a sign of the times, but. You know, yeah, I mean, that's what you get when you underneath the devil. The last thing he wants is men, because men stand up. You know, men speak back. Or if something ain't jiving right, if the logic ain't logicking, real men speak up. Like, this doesn't make sense. This is not adding up. All right, so the enemy sought to destroy us. But here the Lord, through the gospel, the testimony of Yahweh Shai, he's restoring us. All right, and I bring you here to Proverbs 31, verse 3. It says, give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. All right, so this is basically the whole core of red pill. Give not thy strength unto women. All right, that's the Stoic way. All right, and what that means, you do not let a woman take you off of your square. All right. Because that's just not being a man. So in other words, you got, as Babylon teaches us, you put that woman first. You kowtow. You bow and worship and serve that woman. All right, this is the American way. This is Edomite romance, all right? You showering her with gifts and praise. You worshiping her. Putting her on a pedestal. All right? Kissing all up in her ass. That's the American way. But what happens when you do that? You lose yourself. All right? Because you then gave your strength over. Now you're no longer a man. And it's not because you're doing something for a woman, but because you lost sight of your purpose. And that's what happens when you give your strength to a woman. You lose your identity in that woman. And then what happens, she gets bored with you. Or she sees she has a dancing puppet. That shit gets boring after a while. And then she's looking for the next man she can conquer to get to praise her and worship her. And she'll continue that cycle. She'll continue to use men until she comes to that man who is secure in who he is, who is secure in himself. He has purpose. He is driven. He has ambition, all right? And a woman is welcome to come along, or she can eat his dust, because he's moving. He ain't stopping to say, come on, baby, yeah, you can come on, get in. We riding. No, he moving, and if you want to go, you better come on. You see, that's a man who doesn't give up his strength for a woman. And your strength, it could be anything. But as for us, Hebrew Israelites, in this truth, in this doctrine, this truth is our strength. Zerubbabel proved that. Is that first Ezra? But I can't quote exactly, but Zerubbabel, he held a contest with two other officers of the king's court. These are the top guys, you know, protectors of the king. There's Zerubbabel and two other guys. And so they said, we're going to, you know, they just talking, what we're going to do is see who can come up with the wisest saying, all right? And then one man said, women are the strongest. And then he gave his discourse, you know, and he was right. I mean, in his discourse. But he was wrong overall because, yes, women have strength, but they are not the strongest. Then one said wine and Salakia, I forget which order it was, but I believe it was wine, and then women. All right, because one guy said wine, and then he mentioned what we're reading about here. How wine can destroy kings, all right? But so can women. That's why it's written here. Proverbs 31:3. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. All right? And that was part of their discourse, is that wine is powerful enough to dethrone a king. And I'm paraphrasing. Then the other said, no, a woman. Then he gave an example of Apame, the king's concubine, who took his crown off of his head, put it on her head, and slapped the hell out of him, and giggled, and he just giggled back. And that's giving your strength, you know, unto a woman. We probably need that. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Oh shit, they doing. This is first Ezra. It might be. Let's see. Bear with me 1 second because, okay, I think this is it. Okay, First Ezra chapter 3, verse 5, it says, we'll start at verse 4. First Ezra chapter 3, verse 4. Then 3 young men that were of the guard that kept the king's body spake one to another, let every one of us speak a sentence He that shall overcome, and whose sentence shall seem wiser than the others, unto him shall the king Darius give great gifts and great things in token of victory. I hope this is showing right. It says, verse 6, as to be clothed in purple, to drink in gold, and to sleep upon gold, and a chariot with bridles of gold, and a head tire of fine linen, and a chain about his neck. All right. So here we go. The first wrote, wine is the strongest. This is verse 10. All right. First Ezra chapter 3, verse 10. The first wrote, wine is the strongest. Verse 11. The second wrote, the king is strongest. All right. So it was wine, and then it was the king. All right. But then Zerubbabel went on to speak about the woman, but then he squashed all of that and said truth is the strongest. And it said, verse 12, the third wrote, women are strongest, but above all things, truth beareth away the victory. And he won. And you go through and read it yourself, but that's all I needed. You see, it's good to get the scriptures to keep the account accurate. So, you got the accurate account. The first said wine, then the second said the king, and then Zerubbabel, he was the third. He said women are strongest, and that's the truth. Zerubbabel told the truth. And then he put the cherry on top when he said, but above all things, truth beareth away the victory. Now, what ancient wisdom did Zerubbabel know that them other two didn't know? All right? And it's the same thing that the red pills are bringing out today, that these women, all right, they seem vicious, but it's just their nature. All right? It's just their nature. You don't get mad at the lion for eating a zebra, chasing down and devouring a zebra. That's his nature. The frustration, the anger, the anguish that we had is no one taught us female nature. All right? And it's, I put it this way. It's a part of their survival tactics, if you will. Natural selection. A woman's going to test a man to see what he's made of. But again, us with this Babylonian philosophy thinking that we're supposed to be nice and they're supposed to be nice back. What's wrong with her? I bought her all this stuff. I took her to Steak 48. I done did all these things, and then now she gonna get the next man to do the same thing that you did, and then the man after that. Because as the scriptures say, you deal with a woman according to knowledge. She has a nature. We have a nature. And we've been both mad at each other for our nature. The women hate the fact that we like multiple women. And they can't stand it. And again, all right, do you get mad at the dog? But you understand that that's his nature. And then you think it's an insult to us to call us dogs, but one of the greatest men in the Bible name was dog in the Hebrew, and that's Caleb. And so anyway, my point being, Zerubbabel understood women have a certain strength All right, it comes in them curves and pretty smile, you know, and that instinctive nature to see what you're about. But instead of them, if they see, you know, you ain't cut out for them, this is the treacherous part. They don't just move along. If they see you a sucker, they gonna play you. They ain't gonna give you the game. They ain't gonna put you up. They gonna just leave you out there for the next woman to play you. All right? That's the purpose of red pill. But my whole thing is, you know, red pill has its origins in Scripture. All right, this is just one that I brought up right here. Again, Proverbs 31:3, give not thy strength unto women. All right? As a man of the Lord, you give your strength to the Lord. You owe your strength to the Lord, and you give your strength, meaning you use your energies toward performing His will. And a woman in true helpmeet form, she gonna get on board and help you to serve the Lord. She's not gonna be sitting there and demanding your time that you do this for her and you do that for her. That's giving your strength unto a woman. You sitting there and you, okay, baby, yes, baby. Oh, I got that, baby. What the fuck is she? And we the only people, all right? If you get in a relationship and you gotta, as a man, you gotta work. I don't want a woman. See, I thought that was the way. And now I know better. I don't want a woman. I got to work and put work into that woman. Put work into the relationship. That's backwards. No, we both supposed to be working to please Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And if she ain't on board, you get what you need and you move along. As a man, you know. So these women ain't about our purpose. They are not our helpmeet. They are Esau's helpmeet. So, as a man, you know the game. You don't let them play you. You get what you need and you move along. If you need anything at all, if you don't have to deal with a woman, don't deal with a woman. That's what Paul was explaining. All right? And we'll get that, but it says again, Proverbs 31:3, give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. So let's look at that. Thy ways to that which destroy kings. It says here, Galatians 5:18, but if you be led of the Spirit, you are not under the law. Beautiful. All right. And that does not mean the law is done away with. But here's the point, verse 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these. Adultery will destroy a king. Fornication definitely would destroy a king. Uncleanness, all right, destroys king. Look at the bubonic plague. Uprooted a whole kingdom. That was from uncleanness. Lasciviousness. Look at Babylon. Lasciviousness is destroying the Babylonian kingdom right now. So these are things that destroy the king, or these are ways that destroys kings. Idolatry definitely will get your ass up off the throne. Dealing with Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, adultery is the fastest way to get your ass put to death and upseated off that throne. Idolatry, witchcraft, same thing. You know, not that the Most High don't give you mercy, give you chance to repent. But, you know, some things he's not going to be as tolerable with. All right, and that's idolatry and witchcraft. Hatred. Hatred can destroy you. Look at is it Haman? I believe that's Haman, the Edomite. That he had a good position, but he had that hatred in his heart for Mordecai, and got him put to death. He was like the second. He was damn near the Esau. I'm talking about. I believe that was Haman. I think that was his name. Don't quote me on that, but the Edomite that hated Mordecai. Hated him so much he couldn't even enjoy being second in command. And that hatred got him uprooted, got him put to death. And Mordecai got his spot. Hatred. Yeah, yes, hatred. Variance, you know. I think that's kind of the same variance. Emulations. Wrath. Strife. All right? And all these things, we have examples in the scriptures. It says seditions, heresies. Look, verse 21, even more. Envyings. Murders, definitely murders. Drunkenness. Right. Wine is a mocker in the book of Proverbs. Wine will ruin a king. Or, drunkenness. Alcohol. Let's see. Drunkenness. Revelings. And such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi. All right? Now, this is what Paul said concerning women. This is as stoic as you can get. Paul was stoic. All right? You don't get no more stoic than this. That ain't it. All right. We'll go here. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 4. It said, the wife had not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise, also the husband had not power of his own body, but the wife. Yeah, you got to give due benevolence. Due benevolence. Yeah, you can't have your woman, out and about horny, in heat. And likewise, she can't let you go around with blue balls. That's pretty much what it's saying. She can't deny you, nor can you deny her. All right? And it says, verse 5, defraud ye not one another, except it be with consent for a time, you see? So, right, y'all have a duty and obligation to one another. Don't diminish that obligation unless it's with mutual consent. And, whatever time y'all set, like, hey, we're gonna do a no-sex fast for 30 days. Or we might do 90 days, 60 days, whatever, a week. That's on y'all. It says, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer. You just might want to do a regular fast and pray. And you tell your woman, look, baby, I got to do this fast, all right? So, just letting you know. It says that you may give yourselves to fasting and prayer and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. But I speak this by permission and not of commandment. All right? So Paul this is not biblical law. It was just sound doctrine. It's wisdom that he's given. And this is what he says in conclusion to all of that. Verse 7, for I would that all men were even as myself, because Paul was a single man, devoted and dedicated to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. That's why he said, for I would that all men were even as myself. But every man hath his proper gift of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, one after this manner, and another after that. Right, diverse gifts. All right. Paul's gift was to be stoic. I mean, it was beyond that, but that's a gift. All right, to be, I'm saying stoic, but to be celibate in his ministry. And with celibacy comes power. There's a type of power that comes with, being celibate. But every man cannot do that. But that was the point right there. So, right. You got to be about your mission in life. Which I'm glad I just read that. All Hebrew Israelites' mission should be as Paul said. I would that all men were even as myself. Not these heathens. All men of Israel. All right? And we'll go out here. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. That's your purpose in life. You don't let a woman take you off your square in that. You don't give your strength over. You don't cut lessons. You don't cut reading time. I got to go get with my boo. I'm gonna skip class today. You just gave your strength to a woman, because class is your strength. That's your edification. Oh, I got to go meet Bay. I can't, do this lesson tomorrow. Well, you just gave your strength to a woman. Give not thy strength to a woman. Sound biblical wisdom. All right? It ain't red pill. That's just the name they gave to it because this world hates the Bible so much. All right? And with that, we're going to close it out. All right, to the next one. Much love, Shalom.